Before we start off the session, I would like to have a small question to the audience. In the last 6 months or in the last 1 year, how many of you have actually purchased something online? If you could just raise your hands. Anything, it could be consumer durables, fashion, cosmetics. Okay, fairly around 85%. How many of you have purchased any food and grocery item online in the last 6 months? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very interesting. That would set the tone for my discussion today. The discussion will revolve around multi-channel and omni-channel retailing with a specific emphasis on food and grocery. We have a very interesting panel comprising of mixture of brick and mortar retailers as well as online retailers and experts in the FMCG space. So I would start with Darshana. Darshana handles Hypercity, the visual merchandising part of Hypercity and marketing. Darshana, very interesting numbers. What is your take on this from a perspective of an established brick and mortar retailer who probably had launched India's first catalog model way back in the 2000s? And how do you see this? Where do you see this phenomenon going from here?
So well, in Hypercity, as you know that we definitely are a hypermarket, but we definitely believe to be ahead in technology and trying out new things. So when we had a tie-up with Argos way back some 6-7 years back, the catalog buying, we were ahead of its time. So yes, it did create the excitement, but you know it became like a fad. It started and somewhere it started going down. So now if you see, learning that, burning our fingers, investing there, ultimately the reality is to be profitable. So whilst we do believe that we have to go in this space, we are exploring, we already do home delivery, but going full-fledged online and home delivery and all of that together is what we are currently exploring. So we definitely believe that also if you see the customer behavior, because being a hypermarket, which is a destination store, customers do want to, whilst they want convenience, there is a certain segment of customer moving up the strata, looking for convenience, going online. But there is a whole lot of shoppers, and especially in Tier 2 city, for them, shopping in a hypermarket, it's still an outing. It's a community thing still in India. Friends, families, all the women in the society coming down together. So that whole sensorial experience, something new, sampling, a lot of things that happens in store, you really can't do online. So whilst we want to make it as an extension, it does make sense. But yeah, we are still exploring because it has to be profitable. Today, nobody is really profitable in this game. So that's what our take is.
Okay. Manoj, you had a business which is also into physical retailing. What is your take on this? Given that physical retailers like Tesco have actually made a success of online retailing, and they were probably one of the pioneers who introduced online retailing of food and grocery across the country. And if you see their business model, they started with in-store picking, moved to regional warehouses, and then they set up dedicated facility service centers. So in our brief conversation, you had mentioned that you are a physical retailer who now wants to go online and expand your presence. What's your take on this?
Basically, जो हमारा direct to you का है, direct to you we start 2 years back retail. Basically मेरा main business जो है consolidation का था. 2 साल पहले हमने retail चालू किया. हमारी policy बड़ी clear थी कि जब तक break even नहीं आएगा, we want go further. अभी break even आने के बाद 6 महीने से we are struggling on the online. Extension क्या है कि extension का basically हमारा मकसद यही है कि जो rental cost और हर चीज़ों की cost जो है, लोग ऑनलाइन के बाद डीसी बनाते हैं. हमने ऑनलाइन स्टोर लाइव स्टोर चला लिया है. अभी नाउ वी वांट टू कम टू ऑनलाइन. ऑनलाइन का मेन मकसद है कि हमारी कॉस्ट जो है वो कम होती है, हमारे स्टोर्स और खोलने की ताकत बढ़ती है, और इसके साथ जो ग्रॉसरी है, क्योंकि बेसिकली स्टेपल इज़ द मेन कोर बिजनेस. हमारा मेन धंधा जो है, आप अगर देखोगे ऑनलाइन में भी स्टिल आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट कि 50% से ज़्यादा ग्रॉसरी है, मतलब बेसिकली स्टेपल्स फूड है. तो वी आर थिंकिंग कि ये लाइन काफ़ी अच्छी और आगे बढ़ने वाली है. और सोशल मीडिया और ये दूसरी चीज़ें, हम जैसे फेसबुक है, हमारे कस्टमर हमारे पास आके फीडबैक देते हैं कि आप ऑनलाइन क्यों नहीं आते, आप ऑनलाइन क्यों नहीं आते, वी वांट. तो हमने उसके हिसाब से सोचने के बाद इसको चालू किया है. मेनली ग्रॉसरी इज़ द की, जिसके ऊपर हम काम कर रहे हैं, और जो हमारा लाइव स्टोर है उसको अब ऑनलाइन में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं. दिस इज
ओके. Karan, as a young entrepreneur who is anchored and operating localmania.com, is it a case of retailers' reluctance or is it a case of the consumer not being ready? Where would you put your money?
So I don't think either of the scenarios hold true today. I think retailers are ready to go online. I think Mr. Manoj himself is going online. Over here, you've got 2 online startups as well. I think consumers are now ready to buy online. The likes of Flipkart and Snapdeal have done a lot for the industry as a whole. They've established certain trust factor, and I think it's time for us now to be able to build on that trust. Consumer-wise, yes, the Indian consumer has a lot of demands. Conventional physical retail doesn't fulfill all of those demands. That's why technology coming in, the automation that we bring to the retail business, and the ease of use and convenience that a customer gets in the general online industry. I think these factors sort of push a consumer to try the online business. Internet penetration in this country still has a long way to go. And I think the key here for any online business is the mobile space. I think in general, you're talking about 13% of our population having mobile internet today. With a massive 4G rollout that is coming across this country, with Android devices becoming cheaper by the day, you would see hordes and hordes of people getting access to the internet through their mobile devices. And at that point, I think most Indian retail will shift to a digital space, whether it is online or mobile, I guess time will tell. But digital retail in itself, the time is now and we're ready to go.
Right. Shaurya, you are again one of the driving forces of ekstop.com, who is also in this online space. And from what I understand, you have both food and non-food articles. Do you see more traction for food articles? If so, what are the kind of categories that do well? And secondly, how do you see the business spanning out over the next 5 years from an e-commerce perspective?
So, I think between food and non-food, you do see a bias towards food articles. I think by its very nature, grocery implies food. But what we tend to think of ourselves as is not a grocery commerce, but all daily essentials. And that would encompass non-food FMCG products. But grocery tends to be, food articles tend to be the driving force in terms of getting the customer on the website and transacting. The non-food articles tend to be the fillers for the rest of the home, and that gets added onto the baskets. So in non-foods, if we're talking about personal care or home care, from laundries to toiletries, etc. So I foresee that being the trend, and within food itself specifically, the items that do better, I think what every home uses, from pulses to staples to your butter, oil, whatnot, that tends to be the bulk. In addition, basically snack items, drinks, etc., do part of a decent share of the basket. And then you have the fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, dahi, yogurts, dairy produce, etc., which is a decent share as well. So it's food across the kitchen really. So what every home uses tends to be the categories that do well,
right.
Mostly.
It's very interesting that you mentioned fresh fruits and vegetables as one of the portfolios that would be critical in the online shopping basket. Let me bring in the views of Mr. Pradipto. Pradipto, you're anchoring Safal, which is a very well-known brand in India in terms of fresh fruits and vegetables. In your experience, what is the way forward for the category of fresh fruits and vegetables in a digital or an e-commerce world?
I'll bring in the perspective of fruits and vegetables and the fresh produce category. And to give you a bit of perspective of the complexity of this particular category that poses to the retailers and shoppers in general. If you ask me very straight question, e-commerce in fruits and vegetables, for that matter, fresh produce or fresh and chilled produce, at the moment, I don't see huge opportunity looking to the challenges in the whole value chain, starting from farmers to the consumer in terms of infrastructural challenges, perceptional challenges in terms of accepting things in a different way. So at the moment, we are not ready. But going forward, maybe in a 2 years, 3 years time, things may change. But to give you perspective of fruits and vegetables category in specific, this is a category which people are looking out from a health perspective. Okay? But if you look at from a retailer's perspective, it is the biggest footfall driver. But what retailers, the brick and mortar retailers are doing at the moment for this category, they are using it tactically as a loss leadership to invite, to drive walk-ins. But in the whole process, what we are doing, we are forgetting the fact that it's a total disservice to the category. And this category has got huge opportunity in terms of bringing in modern retail into the whole unorganized sector. You name milk, Mother Dairy, I represent company, we have brought in this category into a format where we are the largest producer, and you could see milk in different formats, be it liquid milk or UST milk. But in fresh fruits and vegetables, the weight market dominance of fruits and vegetables is still high. All MRF put together, even food service put together, is hardly 1% of the total pie. So you look at the opportunity, this is big footfall driver, but still loss leadership strategy or tactics which we are playing. You see highest in terms of infrastructural challenge and the commodity challenge in terms of it comprises of hundreds odd fruits and vegetables category. You have got imported apples coming in. So supply and the touch and feel factor of the consumer. You start collecting the orders through online. By the time you deliver it, your delivery by goods, something is rotten. So huge challenge of orders not being serviced at the customer. Therefore, all that we need to do at the moment, ensure that the infra is in place, consumer communication is right there, so that I'll give you classic examples of what we started in Safal. We have got around 400 small kiosks in Delhi and 40 to 50 stores in Bangalore. That's primarily our retail vertical. But over there, we do around 500 metric tons of fruits and vegetables daily, both imported, domestic, highly perishable, and all that. Even in the store, giving the fresh produce consistently at a price competitive enough, we are facing lots of challenges. And we have started rolling out even Safal Express in Delhi, e-rickshaw sort of things. But the challenge is the customer's perception, infra problem, and consistency and standard. There is no standard. You talk about FSSI, they don't talk about what size bhindi that you will give over here or what size okra that will be served there in Bangalore. Therefore, challenges are many. Same is the case for fish, meat, chicken. So I don't see for at least 2 years time horizon, this has got a huge future.
Naresh, Paramount Farms is one of the largest producers and marketers of pistachios in India. What's your perspective in this from an FMCG brand's point of view? Where do you see the multi-channel retail, be it brick and mortar, be it home delivery, be it online retail, be it digital retail? Where do you see yourself as a brand in this space?
See, the products that we sell in our retail packets are for very, very upwardly mobile consumers, and hence modern trade certainly plays a very big role for our kind of a product because the customer profile matching is very right. Along with that, the online retailing part is also interesting because most of our consumers are consumers who would have known the brand or seen the brand abroad, and many of them may not be traveling to stores to scout for such a brand. For them to see this brand on an online platform gives them, I feel, happiness, and they see that the brand is available in India. There is a mode by which I can get this brand. So for us, the fitment is very right. Yes, for the local Indian consumer, which is a huge consumer set, probably the online doesn't give them the touch and feel, which going to a shop or probably buying a small pack and sampling it out and then maybe buying the 3-4 variants can take place. So that becomes again a deterrent for an online thing. But we see a good future to be a partner with the good online chains, because most consumers who go through online, I feel, are consumers who would have known the brand through some of the international traveling that they would be doing.
Right. So from what I understand, your take is, as long as business volumes improve, sales improve, the channel doesn't really matter. If the channel is online, well and good. As a brand, you are more than happy to be present in that particular space because it gives you brand visibility and, of course, a lot more reach to consumers whom you would otherwise not get into.
See, as a brand, from a brand perspective, I would certainly like to be in all possible channels which are available to me,
Right.
and which give a value proposition to both the channel partners and helps the consumer to get it.
Right.
So to me, yes, it is again an opportunity to be in.
Right. Karan, what does it take to succeed in your field as an online retailer or a e-commerce retailer? I'm sure it is not something which is as simple as having a website or an app or a fulfillment facility. Because as a layman, if I have to shop at, let's say, localbanya.com or xstore.com or any other e-commerce site for that matter, I think it is that initial user experience that is going to define whether I'm going to come back to your site for a purchase or not. So what do you think? How do you manage it? How do you ensure that your consumers have a very, I would say, satisfying experience when they come to shop at your site? How do you manage that?
So just to throw a little light on that topic first. So the entry barrier today for somebody to start an online business, if it's being started at a very small and local scale, is not very high. So if you want to start a localbanya.com that caters just to Goregaon East, for example, I think anyone in this room can step up today and within a week they can start servicing this particular area. But the challenges come when you want to scale this business up to a level where you're catering to an entire city or even multiple cities. Like was mentioned earlier, infrastructure is definitely missing. Having said that though, there is a lot of investment being made in the right kind of infrastructure today. So at Local Banya, I think one of the proudest projects that we have is we're doing a lot of research on solar rechargeable mobile refrigeration.
Wow.
So this can potentially give us the last mile delivery network, which is sort of unparalleled, and so these are key focus areas for us. We're looking at solutions to current infrastructure problems. As far as the consumer perspective goes, I think the Indian consumer is now very, very well educated. Gone are the days where consumers didn't know what to expect from retailers. So customer today basically wants everything. They want selection, they want price convenience, and they want overall convenience in terms of delivery, in terms of quality of product. For an online retailer, that first push that you mentioned, the first order is the most critical. And I think if we can match up to what our commitments are in terms of our service levels, we have a customer for life. The key focus for us internally is customer service. Our entire operational and supply chain system is driven by a core customer service team. So every aspect of our operations, whether it is order processing, delivery, sourcing, procurement, all report into a customer service team, which is the front face of the organization with the customer. And they have a direct line from customer, and therefore our entire operational system gets a more customer-oriented approach.
Right. Darshana, this brings me to a trade-off. You are an existing retailer who has a wide assortment. You have an in-store facility for picking. You probably have a well-established set of consumers who are very loyal to you. You have a home delivery mechanism in place. So, if, let's say, a brick-and-mortar retailer thinks only about profitability and break-even, does it not risk the retailer running or not having the advantage of being a first mover, given that you have so much of back-end infrastructure to fall back on?
Well, that's a valid question, but when you started the forum, you asked how many, how many of these audience over here are actually shopping food and grocery online.
Right.
And today we don't even see 20% hands, or it was almost only just 20%. So if I was sitting in some other forum internationally where I had 70%, then I would definitely have this, fear that, I'm not the first mover advantage. But because this is a standard question where we are getting asked that, do you see online as a competition? Do you see losing customer? Well, personally, I don't think today, and I'm saying that we want to be there, but today, in fact, a lot of these guys who are doing online, we are the guys who are supplying them at the back end. Because putting up the whole back end, putting the infrastructure, doing this, it's quite expensive, and getting the kind of volume or the price from the FMCG company. So yes, we want to be there, but today, and talking about profitably, which was your other question, how do you run a whole business and empire where you want to grow brick and mortar also, because this is what the readiness in India is today, to buy online. So you definitely have to open more and more stores, and when you have to open stores, you have to invest money, and if you're not profitable and you still also start doing businesses which are sinking in the same fund, I don't think anybody, and we were just joking at the back end, that if you are talking about, we are in the game where we want to have the brand, this thing happening, how will you get it if you're non-profitable? Nobody is going to give you that kind of investment with FDI coming in. So eventually it has to be a balanced game. You definitely want to be there, but what is the right time? And I personally believe, when I hear all these new people starting and good job, but I also feel that what I've seen in international markets with Waitrose and Tesco's and all, when a brand which is a conventional brand who have loyalty customers, when they do go online, they definitely have that loyalty through and through. So you don't have the fear of losing, because you definitely are giving them the same service, same brand trust, and I think that's the way forward.
Right. Manoj, what is it that then prompts you to actually get up and do online retailing? I mean, at one end, your margins are under pressure. Most of Indian retailers are still finding it extremely difficult to break even for various reasons. One of them being that rental as a percentage of sale is very high. But being a physical retailer, what is it that excites you about online retailing or e-commerce?
सवाल आपका बहुत अच्छा है. दर्शना जी ने भी वही बात की है, और मैं करण से भी ये सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ कि बेसिकली ऑनलाइन के अंदर जब बैकएंड, आज मैं भी एक बैकएंड लेके बैठा हूँ, आई एम ऑल्सो सप्लाइंग टू ऑनलाइन, आई एम ऑल्सो सप्लाइंग टू हाइपर सिटी, आई एम ऑनलाइन, सब लोगों को हम लोग भी सप्लाई करते हैं बैकएंड के, बट स्टिल ऑनलाइन के ऊपर हम क्यों आना चाहते हैं? एज ए रिटेलर आज हम अपने जो बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, ब्रेक इवन हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है, बट वी आर नॉट अर्निंग ए मनी. बॉटम लाइन, कन्वीनियंस कंज्यूमर को चाहिए, सर्विस कंज्यूमर को चाहिए, क्वालिटी कंज्यूमर को चाहिए. इसके लिए हम लोग जो देख रहे हैं कि मार्जिन के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा प्रेशर है, तो उस प्रेशर के लिए वी वांट टू गो टू ऑनलाइन. बट स्टिल एक करण से मेरा ये पर्सनल सवाल है कि बैकएंड, जब हम एक बैकएंड लेके बैठे हैं, आप कैसे कमाते हो? सॉरी, मैं आपका सवाल थोड़ा एक्सटेंड कर रहा हूँ साथ में, कि बैकएंड हमारे पास है, वी आर वर्किंग ऑन बैकएंड, आप हमसे लेके भी कमा सकते हो, तो हम क्यों नहीं, हाइपर सिटी क्यों नहीं?
हम वही कर रहे हैं. So Local Banya is a very lean and nimble business model. We have very low inventory costs associated with us. We do inventorize, of course. We have our own rationale behind inventorizing and what products we do inventorize. But we work with the likes of Hypercity, we work with Metro Cash and Carry, we work with Booker Wholesale and Tesco. So it just logically makes sense for us to get whatever assistance we can from existing infrastructure. So we do rely on existing backends. At the same time though, I think for any online company, our key differentiator will be the kind of technology that we are able to create in our backend that allows us to work with everyone else. So our supply chain and our sourcing cycle is a mixture of an inventory-based model and a just-in-time model. We call it a just-in-time model, wherein we procure products from existing infrastructure, whether it be the APMC, the FMCG company, or any other modern trade institution, only when a customer orders from us. We manage to turn this product around in our warehouse and get it to the retail end consumer within 6 hours. So that is where our focus is on. It's on that last mile delivery network and the technology that allows us to basically be an aggregator of products and a supplier to the consumer.
Right. Shaurya, what do you think would be a winning customer value proposition for any retailer, be it online or offline? Of course, offline retailers, you are more familiar in India, but in this specific context, what do you think will be a winning customer value proposition if you are to make this business model very successful in India?
So, sorry, if you can just repeat your question. You said
Yeah.
biggest value proposition.
Sure. What I'm asking is, what would be a winning customer value proposition for e-commerce to succeed in India, especially in the food and grocery space?
I think it's a great question. A lot of people ask, what are you in the business of? And I wonder if we are in the business of retailing or we're in a business of service, or are we in a logistic business? To echo Karan's point here, the last mile delivery is the key part of our business, getting it to the consumer's hand. While we at Akestop operate slightly different to some of the other online retailers where we don't purchase from existing infrastructures, we work with manufacturers directly. However, where we spend a lot of time, money, and build expertise in is actually getting it to the consumer. And the reason we do that is basically the service to the consumer is the biggest factor. So whether that is convenience, whether that is variety in the products, finding products which may not be easy to access. A good example would be high quality pistachio, which may not be available at every shop around the city. And if I have to make a trip to a hypercity to find it, if I'm staying in some other part of Bombay, that's difficult. So convenience is a big factor where we're providing access to products which are not available everywhere. Price, obviously for us, price is not a driving factor, but you face reality. You're in India. Everybody likes offers and price. So you do price competitively. And then the seamless experience, basically, from the point where they place an order to the point they get it at their door with the right quality, that really is the driving force for us.
Right.
So that's basically, we get those things right, that becomes a winning proposition for us.
Right. Since this is a new channel, what are the kind of activities that you guys normally do for customer acquisition?
There's a variety of stuff. For retail, historically, print, paper has always worked very well. If you look at rest of e-commerce, they generally don't go the way of paper. Advertising in newspapers, but for grocery, e-commerce has worked pretty well. But besides that, there are a lot of offline campaigns, whether they're society activations, whether they're online marketing, whether it's campaigns within offices, corporate parks, etc. So there are a lot of small niche items we do, besides the mass media stuff such as print. Online grocers, by and large, have not gone to the medium of TV. You do see radio spots, for example, as well, which has had decent success. But it's a mix of online and offline, I think, from a customer acquisition point of view. Yeah.
Okay. If I were to define omni-channel retailing in very simple terms, I would probably define it as an interaction between the retailer and the consumer, irrespective of the medium. It could be digital, it could be offline, it could be online, it could be brick and mortar, it could be even something which is as simple as home delivery. So Darshana, what I want to know from you is, do you have operational parameters for, let's say, driving home delivery as a separate focus? And if so, how do you define it and how do you manage it within the gambit of customer service?
For home delivery, when it comes to our, so there are two kind of categories. When we're talking about our electronics or furniture and those high-end items, we definitely have to do home delivery. There's definitely a separate call center, servicing center, and things like that because that requires. But we've also now started on the food and grocery side, typically as a basket. What we did is, to begin with, we were testing the ground. So we've not really started in all our stores and went all out. We first decided to not do in our primary catchment. So let's say for Malad Hypercity, we decided we will not do in our initial catchment, we will go out. So where there is competition ahead, so we went into Andheri, Juhu, Bandra, and things like that, just to understand that how am I, giving the convenience, because like even Shaurya mentioned, it's all about convenience. So how do I give convenience to those customers and still not sort of get into my pie initially? And that is what has worked for us. And we have a separate, so everything works on a monthly buying, same marketing. We use our back-end logistic of the store. So we've not currently put up any separate, we have a plan. But currently, while we are doing this, we were looking at starting in Bangalore. But we're looking at first within our store, how the same store team and the same supply chain and the same delivery vans, how can we optimize the cost there and not, except for putting a service center, and which is also our existing customer care center, and not trying the whole thing differently. So that's how we've started, and that's where we are seeing the response. So we are definitely testing the ground before we go all out and start. And the other interesting fact, we were also discussing in the background that it's the same point that today India is yet not ready, because we were talking about occasions when we were talking about Diwali. Diwali is still the festival where people want to go out and come to the stores. It's not still going online. So we were talking about this 26 January, where again people are, because all the kind of deals and the entire mall is giving you the deal. So you're not just going to buy food and grocery, you're going for apparel, you're going for various other things. So because of that, customers still like going out and shopping. So we are, like I said, we are testing it out. We are testing with partners, the online partners, but we're taking it slow.
Right. Karan, what I understand is, like in brick and mortar retailing, your rental as a percentage of sales actually will go a long way in defining whether you are break even or you're profitable or not. In the case of online retailers like you, what would that be?
So for us, the deciding factor is our last mile delivery costs, our logistics costs. They are the single largest cost field that we associate with. And I think the entire efficiency and profitability of the business model depends on how efficient our delivery cycles are. But having said that, we do hold some distinct advantages. We don't have real estate costs associated with us at all. I think we have only
Right.
warehousing costs.
Right.
In a model like local banyas, warehousing cost is also at minimum. So typically I'll just throw out some standard numbers here. We do a business of about 6x of what our monthly inventory holding is.
Wow.
That's where we hold a product portfolio of about 13,000 products that we retail online on any given day, active live SKUs. This is done by holding inventory on only 800 of those articles.
Okay.
A significant advantage, again, is our real estate is virtual. It's as good as infinite basic rack space. That's where I think we hold a higher value proposition to physical retailers, is we can expand our product lines without adding costs to it.
Right. Shaurya, that actually brings to my next question. How does reverse logistics work for you? And is that a dead cost for you? Because as a lay consumer, today if I'm going to a shopping mall, I don't mind paying 30 rupees for a parking space. So how does that, what prevents online retailers from charging a delivery fee? Probably because that would probably have an industry-wide impact.
Yeah. So it's true. Most e-commerce companies like us don't charge delivery fee. And I think this is because we're spoiled. I think we get things at home which is free of charge. You order food from your restaurant, you order food, or you order some items from your kirana, you got something from the chemist. You don't pay for delivery. So we are not used to it. So A, that's one reason. B, it's for us it's a barrier, charging a delivery fee. We want the consumers to come on and try out the service and be a lifetime customer. So that's one barrier we overcome. As far as reverse logistics, what is surprising is that unlike what one may think, that these are perishable products, so you must get a lot of returns and requests to replacements and whatnot, it's not true. You don't tend to do that. So reverse logistics is the least of our concerns. It's really not a big deal. And in cases where there are returns, etc., the one good part about food and grocery is people tend to shop twice a month. So we're going back into that house in about 2 weeks. So we do entertain requests where we provide a replacement if they're willing to wait for a couple of weeks, we replace it in the next visit. And if they want it immediately, of course, we do that as well. But reverse logistics is not so much of a cost impact, and it's not something that worries us that much.
Okay. Pradeep, though, during your discussion in the background, I remember you mentioning that Safal has multiple retail delivery models, which include small format stores, a mobile store. So that, of course, is another form of omni-channel retailing. What has been your major learning from, let's say, a mobile experience vis-a-vis a fixed store format?
See, Safal has got very strong and compelling selling proposition to the consumers at large. The key value proposition that is got across to the consumers wherever we cater to is freshness, food safety, and value for money. So, in fact, the right to succeed in the model that we are working is basis this. So, therefore, the kind of backend that is built right from the farmers, we don't have inventory because you are dealing in fresh commodities. So, zero inventory is the best. It's not fast produce and it has to go immediately. Therefore, the point that is asked is, what's our experience? Let me tell you the kind of channels that we are at the moment. We are also, in a way, making home delivery. We have got small format stores, which are mostly franchise-based store. The in-store picking happens in the stores. The orders are received in the stores, and it's delivered fresh and value for money. So the overall, the architecture of the brand, freshness, foods and food safety. See, people go for fruits and vegetables from a health standpoint of view, and they come to us because here is a brand which assures food safety. And our experience in this category, in making home delivery through store, not as a standalone home delivery through call centers and all, has been great. Because when your ticket size is of around 200 rupees in fruits and vegetables, you need, your basket size in terms of quantity is 4 to 5 kg. So very difficult to carry. And we are in the vicinity, we are a neighborhood store. So we make sure that it's delivered, over phone orders picked, and it's delivered within 1 hour. So people or the support see the freshness. Or wherever we have done, at least in 50 to 100 stores, we have been doing this for last 4 to 5 years. Experience has been good. Second experimentation which we are doing in Delhi, we have rolled out 25 e-rickshaws that support from New Delhi Municipality Corporation, NDMC. And there the assortment is limited, 23 to 25 SKUs, but it's a mobile. It's going early in the morning, around 6 o'clock. That's the time when vegetables are picked up by the consumers. And they are going, it's last 3 months experience, and it's doing rocking business. So what I see, the home delivery bundled with your store and the e-rickshaw which we are running has been paying dividend to us. But it's early, it's premature to tell, is this the model, the game changer in this particular category? I can't say right away what's the solution like. But our experience has been good. We see great future even in fresh fruits and vegetables. You see, this fresh fruits and vegetables, if you want really a game changer, the way the daily price changes, the kind of inflationary pressure this category makes. We have seen onion, we have seen tomatoes, and we have seen the RBI governor is worried about bringing in discipline in inflation rate. Therefore, everything macroeconomic and monetary policy is in place. So therefore, if something great can be done by this technology for a category which is complex enough in fresh fruits and vegetables, that will be great service to the nation at large and to the fraternity of retailers at large.
Right. Current experiential marketing has a lot of importance in food and grocery because at one level, while I understand staples, fruits, vegetables, everybody understands those products. Suppose it's a new product. Suppose it's Italian pasta. Of course, there is no way you can get a consumer to try it, unlike in a brick and mortar space, in an online space. Do you think that could be one of the reasons why we see a lot of our audience having shop for consumer durables, apparel, perfumes, etc., but not necessarily for food and grocery, because they want an experiential look, feel, touch the product, and then make a purchase decision?
So I think I'm going to disagree with you there completely. One of the reasons why people aren't buying their food and grocery online today is because there is really no one there to service that need. I think this goes for both Egstop, ourselves, and any other online grocer that started off. Our goal today is to create market awareness. Our goal today is to educate the consumer that yes, this is a possibility. We are trustworthy as well. In case if you do have issues, I think all of us have no questions asked, return policies, instant refunds in place. And you will be surprised, 25% of local banya's business is fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
So people do order them. I think we have bypassed that touch and feel factor. Also with most of the other product lines, it's still your regular Amul, it's still the same milk, it's still the same butter, it's still the same jar of Cadbury that you're buying in any other retail format. Therefore, those I don't think require touch and feel, but places where they do, it's just about, again, that first purchase and building the trust and confidence of the consumers towards you. Because at the end of the day, we source the same products that most other modern trade formats do. And in some cases, we source them from the modern trade formats as well.
Right.
So the challenge isn't about a lack of touch and feel, it's about creating awareness. And we do also, in fact, do sampling exercises, like you mentioned, for the pastas. So Local Banya has previously sent out hot cooked pasta meals as samples to consumers as brand initiatives. Again, what gives us an edge is we record all the data of each and every sample given out. We have feedback taken in. It's a much more engaging platform with the customers rather than a physical format. And the data that we accumulate and amass gives us some brilliant insights onto what consumers actually want and require.
Right. Sharia, that's a very interesting point on data and analytics. I mean, as online retailers, you would probably have a lot of access to demographic data, psychographic data, average bill values, basket analysis. So what are the kind of analysis that you guys do to enhance business volume?
Yeah, analytics is a key portion of, not just for us to improve our service, but also to help manufacturers understand their consumers better. One of the things I think, as Karan touched upon, is one thing you can't get an offline is, I could be at a store, I picked up, I looked at a Dove shampoo, but I ended up buying a Sunsilk. That cannot be captured offline.
Right.
You cannot.
Right.
Offline is only sales data.
Right.
Online, the analytics is to the point where you looked at something, you eventually bought something else. So what triggered that decision?
Right.
So that's feedback for the manufacturer perhaps, maybe
Okay.
feedback for us, the way we position the product.
Right.
But as far as internal analytics to improve our service, we do all sorts of things, from understanding, what the customer bought the last time, what they bought this time, what age group did they fall under, how many people do they have in their family. Understanding basically, maybe they bought something, some fruits and vegetables last time, they didn't buy it this time. Why did that happen? Or their consumption pattern, how much sugar are they consuming, how much oil are they consuming, etc. So that maybe not now, but down the road, there can be predictive buying, where even before they're asking for their order, we're there delivering that order. So there's a lot we can do, and there's a lot we do internally right now to also improve our service, where we do send out reminders, for example, where we know some people may be running out of certain supplies, etc.
Right.
So that kind of data capturing is difficult to do an offline store, which we do tend to do in online quite a bit, and then use that to our advantage.
Right. In fact, Darshana, there could be lakhs of consumers who would be coming into Hypercity on a monthly basis. Do you have an in-house loyalty program in place wherein you could have targeted offerings and targeted basket offerings to consumers? And how do you leverage analytics in this era of e-commerce?
Oh yeah, very much. We do have a loyalty program from past 3.5, 4 years. We almost have 8 lakh members there. And definitely this is the big data world where analytics we've been using quite strongly. In fact, in the past 1 year at least, where we, one of course on the recency, frequency and the standard monetary behavior where we've segmented our customers. So our top customers who are, we call them our elite, they almost give first of all, my program is almost contributing 55% to my sales right now.
Okay.
So it's almost, it's quite big. And the top end customers who are coming at least 3 times in their frequency and their basket size are also 4.5, 5,000 average monthly. So that is the kind of customer we are catering to. Apart from that, we clearly have incremental sales analytics, matrix put in place where we do the basket analysis, we do the adjacency. So a customer who's buying beverages, but let's say like a milk and biscuit is a standard.
In terms of getting the deliveries at home, what we've been doing, as well as Karan would agree with that, is we're trying to reduce the time from the time you've placed the order till the time the goods are at your home, no matter where you live in Bombay. So whether you're a few minutes away or whether you're on the other extreme of the city, our delivery promise is consistent and same. So it doesn't matter how far you are, the goods will reach you and in the same sort of speed. And we're bringing it down. For example, in our case, if you order by 11 in the morning, you can get your delivery as soon as 5 p.m. that same very day. So, and we're working on improving that further and further. But the answer is that delivery promise applies across the city no matter where you are.
Hi, my question is to Mr. Pradeepta Sahu. So with so many new players coming into the frozen foods category and Safal being market leader for so long, how do you see the other brands as a threat to Safal? And what strategies would you focus on to deal with the new competition? And my second question is that do you plan to diversify your portfolio in the RTC range? Because when I talk about Safal, I've seen most in the IQF range and the frozen vegetables and not primarily into the RTC range. So what is your take on that, sir?
See, Safal is again in the frozen space, fruits and vegetable space, is a pioneer brand. And our strategy has been to be market leader in, there are 2 spaces in the frozen segment. One is frozen food component, which is ingredient component, and we would like to be the leader in that category. And at the moment, so far as consumer pack is concerned, we are market leader across. Like it's a generic brand. You name Amul butter, Safal butter. So that's the brand equity that exists in the length and breadth of the country. And we started this technology in the country. And when it comes to ready to cook or ready to eat or snacks, which is a category of indulgence, there our presence is very limited. But I won't reveal the strategy going forward, but certainly we are looking at it very seriously to have big presence in this category. Maybe in a year or 2 years time.
So how do you see packaging playing an important role in this category? Because when we talk about this category, it's a frozen category and people are really not open in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities when we talk about the frozen food. So how do you think, because many players like Kia and Sumeru, you see they have redefined and they have revived their packaging a lot. They have put a lot of thought into that. So how do you think packaging plays a crucial role in making this entire category lucrative and draw the consumer's attention?
The very importance of packaging, it goes without saying, but you named brand like Sumeru, Alana and all that. So even the revolution or the changes that are happening in this thing, people are looking at the portion size. Because the frozen once thought the quality goes for a toss. Therefore, the packaging that you will see in the days to come will be of smaller size, taking care of your portions, and in terms of packaging material, the kind of storage temperature and all, that will go as per the technological changes. But certainly there will be change.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I had a question for both the online commerce companies. Two questions actually. One is, how do you induce your customers to browse and not just shop? So example, I go to a hypercity, I'm going for let's say buying dal, but I walk through all the aisles and then pick up something else. How do I do that on an online platform? And second thing is, a local kirana shop is able to do price differentiation. So to me, he might give me a 5% discount, somebody else 10% discount. Are you doing that right on online platforms?
Yeah, I didn't get the last part of that question.
So, are you able to do a price differentiation depending on the customer, like a kirana shop can do because the guy is loyal or he's newcomer, whatever it is? And the previous question was, how do you ensure browsing is happening and not just
So I'm
shopping?
going to answer your second question first. We can do it, yes. So technology allows us to do price differentiation. It also allows us to do product differentiation. We can show people products that are more relevant to them. But as a practice, we don't employ price differentiation because tomorrow if you do speak to somebody physically and find out that they have been purchasing at a different price, it's only going to give a more negative impression about the brand and the service. So we don't employ the price differentiation tactic, but we do a lot of sorting on our product portfolios depending on customers coming in, depending on their previous purchases, the areas that they have browsed more. That's how we also then entice browsing. So if you're a customer who's been purchasing more of, say, dairy products from us, the next time you do log on to the website, by default you would be shown a few more relevant products in the dairy category. Another way we obviously entice browsing is by having as much of a seamless, smooth user experience as possible. We do work very closely with a lot of brands to push more relevant offers and to push more relevant products to consumers as well.
All right, I guess do you want to have a quick go at it? We are completely out of time, so we need to move to the next session.
I was just going to add that regarding the price differentiation, which I know they do as well, is if you're a loyal customer, we do reward loyalty. So we do have a point system where if you've been a loyal customer, you can get almost 2 to 3% extra off of your total bill value. So that's how we would reward loyal customers.
All right, may I request Srijit, thank you so very much, Srijit, for hosting this. A round of applause for the panelists. We're talking to Srijit Mohan, Darshana Shah, Karan, Manoj Chatia, Pradeep Kumar Sahu, Shaurya Mehta and Naresh Gupta. Thank you so much for being on stage and thanks for hosting this session, Srijit.